Hey everybody, it's Jamie again, week number 3 of the Right on the River blog. Gonna get right into it. This one's called The Cliff. So, here we go. Okay, so I'm coming down off that highfalutin prose cloud that I've been floating around on for the first 2 weeks of this blog. And this week I'm simply going to tell you what it is I'm actually up to. In other words, the main focus of this blog. So, a year ago, February, I sold half of my business, Howl at the Moon Productions, this guy right here, and I sold it to my longtime business partner, Jeff, and gave up any sort of a regular paycheck and set myself a goal of writing my first novel. It's something I've wanted to do my entire life. I've always been writing in one format or another. First it was for the newspaper right here at Pioneer Junior High, then at the Apple Leaf at Wenatchee High, and then at the Daily at the University of Washington. And I went on from there to write and edit for weekly and monthly publications, right up until the day my daughter was born. And at that point, I ran the calculations, and I figured out very quickly that my hourly wage was nowhere near sufficient to justify missing a single hour with that beautiful baby. So, I went freelance. So that led to more writing, and that led to writing documentary films and TV commercials, and I wrote music and lyrics for my band, Fat Happy, but I was always dancing around the real project. I was writing everything except the novel that I always imagined that I would write. So finally I jumped off the cliff. And all the very best things that have happened to me have happened in the wake of jumping off a cliff. So I'm a big proponent of cliff jumping, as you might imagine. I'm hoping that's still the case with this jump. But when I jumped off this particular cliff, I jumped with some pretty serious delusions about what lay ahead. So before I jumped, I'd been reading up on story structure and novel writing for more than a year. I had an idea I loved, and I had the skeleton of an outline based on Larry Brooks' book called Story Structure Demystified. Story Structure Demystified. I think I recommend it if you're looking for something like that. And from that, I was able to calculate it that I only had to crank out about 400 pages of copy, and actually less than that would be even better. And so I set myself a goal of 5 pages a day. That's about 1,500 words a day, which I'd also read was both an ambitious and a reasonable goal. So with all of that, I was then able to calculate that if I hit it hard, I'd have a completed novel in 80 days. Even if I took every weekend off, which I didn't plan to, I'd have my novel ready to go in 4 months, 4 short months. So this month I just passed the 1-year mark. And I don't have a novel yet. I don't even have something I would let a close friend read. So I know all about NaNoWriMo and people spitting out novels in less than a month. I'm just clearly not that kind of writer. I overthink, I overanalyze, I overagonize, and frankly I'm a little freaked out at just how hard this is and how long it's taking. But not for 1 second have I wished that I didn't jump off that cliff. Good things are going to come from this, and not the least of which is the absolute 100% guarantee that when I'm finished, I'll know that I didn't let this life get past me without trying the one thing I wanted to do the most. Thanks for joining me. You can subscribe to this at rightontheriver.org, WRITE on the river.org. I'll see you next week.